sermon, Revelation chapter 7. Revelation chapter 7. What are some highlights from that sermon? And I know not everyone here was able to watch it, so we won't spend too much time on it. Verses 1
Yeah, it
to
blew me
8.
away. When he
Yeah.
said he replaced when Judah,
Mm.
right, replaced Dan, and was it Judah that
Reuben.
replaced Dan, the tribe of Jan?
Judah
Reuben,
replaced
thank you.
Reuben. Yes.
Yeah, Reuben, yeah.
Mm.
And then Joseph replaced the tribe of Dan. Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't realize that. Going back to the lineage, just the idolatry, and that's nuts. I have to read Judges. I haven't got there yet, but when I get there, it'll be more exciting when I realize that.
Mm.
Mm.
That's cool.
Yeah, the Bible's so rich. As we know more about the Bible, the it becomes more clear. It's like, whoa, what
Wait,
else?
sorry. So Reuben is the one that replaced Dan, right?
No,
No, Judah.
Judah took Reuben's spot as the first one, as the firstborn blessings, because Reuben slept with his father's concubine. So that's the sin that he committed. And I'm not sure if Joseph replaced Dan, but definitely Ephraim is not in the line. I think that was the one that got
Mm,
replaced. Ephraim. Manasseh and Ephraim were brothers. They were the sons of Joseph. Oh yeah, and Joseph might have replaced Dan because Joseph's in here too, and
yeah,
Manasseh is his son. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I believe he said. Yeah, that's what I wrote
wow.
down.
Mhm.
Holding back the winds, and the winds represent judgment.
Mhm.
And then Ian brought something up to me where because when the trumpets are blown, right, that's when the judgment happens. I don't know. Ian said like because the angels are blowing out the wind from the trumpets, so you must have wind to blow out. I was like, what? That was cool, man. That was
Mm.
a good point he brought up. Even though it's not in there, I'm just,
Yeah, four angels holding back the winds. It shows us how powerful angels are.
Mm.
hmm
Can you imagine?
It's better than
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, cartoons get their imagination from the Bible because these are supernatural events. These are just insane.
Mhm.
Can't even comprehend it.
So for me, it was 144,000.
mm.
Mhm.
How the they are a very protected group of Jewish people by the Lord, and that just from the beginning, right? In Genesis, it talks about Jacob and his sons, and even all the way into Revelation, he's still keeping his promise to the whole thing. That rather than completely obliterating Reuben and his family, rather than completely obliterating all these things, he still gives them favor. He's like,
Mm.
"Oh, I'm still going to hold a remnant of all of your sons. Well, almost all of your sons, right?" And so it just showed how God is faithful from the beginning to the end. He's going to protect them and everything he's going to do to protect them, right? And because they need to evangelize, that the Lord's going to protect them. That too was really cool to hear. And yeah.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah, that was a very powerful. We know the truths, but just for Pastor John to remind us, when we doubt God's promises, just look at Israel. Look at Israel today. They're still here.
Mm.
The Israelites, the all the other ites are
Mm.
not here today.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the Israelites are.
Mm.
Anything else?
Yeah, you mentioned two groups, and we talked about it, but just to clarify, it's two groups in Revelation 7. One, the restraining angels, and then the sealed saints, as you mentioned, Amanda. Yeah, and that's just comforting. If we ever doubt God, like you said, Josh, just look at Israel and the new
Mm.
covenant promise that we have in them. And he noted all those new covenant promises in Jeremiah, Ezekiel, two verses in Ezekiel, Zechariah, Romans.
And he's orchestrating from before the foundations of the earth. So crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So mind-boggling.
We'll move on now then to the Mark study.
Wait, Joshua, I was reading my notes.
Uh, oh,
But I
okay.
was listening
Sounds
to
good.
everything that you guys were saying.
Uh,
And for me, it was the 144,000 to just be more familiar with who they are. And I mean, everything that you guys shared, but what he said, chapter 6 answers the question of chapter 7 in verse 17 that said, who is able to stand? And then he referenced Revelation 14, verses 1 through 4, because it gives us the answer there of who and what
Mm.
they are, and they're going to be
mm,
the first fruits to God and to the Lamb. And I mean,
Mm.
it was just amazing. Like I knew they were Jewish and like a protected group, but it was just
Mm.
awesome how he did that and just have a better understanding of who they are and just the way that he shared everything.
he makes scripture very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Often in Bible reading, we just skip this, right? Or you just kind of
Yeah.
scan through it. 12,000, 12,000, 12,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One thing that also stuck out to me is that those protected people have a seal on their forehead, right? And Antichrist comes and tries to make his own version and spin on that. And I never made that connection too, that the Antichrist will also have a mark on people's foreheads, but it's going to be the wrong one. You know, I never made that connection too, that these protected group of people are going to be sealed, and then he's going to have his false group of people that are going to have a marking on their forehead as well.
Satan can only copy what God does.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move to Mark then. Mark chapter 16.